In this video, we're going to go through on Xingnan School 2024 Primary 5 End of Year Examination, Mathematics Paper 1, Booklet B. So let's get started on the next question, question 16. Find the value of 23 divided by 9. So express your answer as a mixed number in the simplest form. Okay, so if I were to show you divided by mixed number, all right, okay, sure. So we are expressing this as a mixed number. So we will just do a normal division, so 23, and then you divide it by 9. That's what you see over here. Okay, so from here, what is closest to 23? That is a multiple of 9. It should be 18. Okay, so you minus 18 over here, and then your remainder should be this is 2, right? And then your remainder is, in this case over here, 5. Okay, so that means your answer for 23, right, and then divided by 9 is equal to 2, and then 5 over 9. Wait, yeah, 5 over 9. That's what you see over here. All right, there you go. So that's the answer, 2, 5 over 9. Okay, we can move on to the next question. Question number 17. All right, so question number 17 says, how many minutes are there in 1/3 an hour? So 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes. Okay, then right, so 3 out of 5 hours, okay, is equal to, basically in this case, is equal to 3/5, 60 60 times, and then 3 out of 5. Wait, 3 out of 5 here. Okay, so in this case, hours, right? Wait, let me just put this over here. Okay, so from here, we can just cancel 5, and then 60. This will then just be 12. Right, so in the end, you have 12. So this will be equal to 12 times 3, which is equal to 36 minutes. So in this case, right, 1 hour, 1/3 of an hour, right, is equal to 60 plus 36, which is 96 minutes. Okay, so the answer is 96 minutes. All right, there we go. Let's move on to the next question. All right, question 18. So measure and write down the size of angle GXH. So first, draw a notch. That's what you see over here. So this is a notch. Put the notch here so that when you align to your protractor, it's actually easier to align it. Something like this. Okay. So once you align it nicely, then the next thing is to measure it. So the line is very close to the 53 mark. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so it's 50, not 130. So it's between 50 and 60, and this is 53 degrees in this case over here. So then we're going to write here 53 degrees. All right, let's move on to the next one. Okay, draw the minute hand after it makes a 1/4 turn clockwise. Okay, so clockwise is from left to right. 1/4 turn, okay, 1/4 is basically a 90-degree turn, right? Okay, so that means this over here, if I were to draw the minute hand, it will look something like this. Okay, so that's it. So this is what is it. So I will draw a rectangular line, so we know that this is a 90-degree turn, right? There you go. Okay, so let's move on to question 20. So it says here that the graph shows the points scored by 5 classes during sports day. How many points did class 4B score? Okay, so we count the number of gaps. All right, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 gaps is equal to 10. 1 gap is equal to 10 divided by 5. This is equal to oops, 2, right? So one gap is equal to 2. So now 4b is basically over here. And I'm going to draw the line like this. Red line, so it's easier to see. Okay, so from the red line, you have 60, then you have 58, 56. So in this case, we have 56 over here. So the answer to this is 56, right? Points in this case. All right, let's move on to the next question. Question 21. Draw the following cuboid on the isometric grid provided. PQ has been drawn for you. So PQ has been drawn for me. Okay, so don't know why the line starts here, but sure, will do. Okay, so PQ is like this. Okay, so we also know that this is 4 units and 2 units. So what we can do is we can just draw like this as well, and then we can draw like this as well. Okay, so this is the face. So what's the length, right? Length times breadth times what's the breadth, right? The breadth is 4 units, so it's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so same goes here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, and 4, like this. Okay, and then after that we have the 2 units as such, and then lastly we have 2 units, 1 and 2, and then lastly we have 2 units like this. Okay, there you go. So that's the answer. All right, let's move on to the next one. Question 22. Okay, 6,000 milliliters of paint was poured into 5 containers equally. How many liters of paint were there in one container? Express your answer as a decimal, right? Or in liters. Okay, so 5 containers is equal to 6,000 milliliters. One container is equal to, right, 6,000 divided by 5, okay, is equal to 1200 milliliters. So 1200 milliliters is equal to 1200 divided by 1000. Okay, this will be 1.2 liters. Okay, so the answer to this is 1.2 liters. All right, let's move on to the next question. Question 23. All right, find the ratio of the length string A to the length string B. Give your answer in the simplest form. Okay, so for here, string A, we know that this one will be 2 centimeters, right? And then for B is from 0 to 8, so this is 8 centimeters. Okay, so the ratio from A is to B, okay, is 2 to 8, and then we can divide this by, what do you think is the common factor between these two, right? We can divide this by 2, right? Okay, so divide by 2, and then we divide it by 2, so that means this will be 1 is to 4, and that's it. 1 is to 4 is the correct answer. 1 is to 4. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Question 24. The table shows the time taken by 5 swimmers to complete the race. Who was the first to race? So, first means fastest, and fastest means lowest number. So, what's the lowest number in this case? The lowest number is 13.7, right? So, in this case over here, this is the lowest number. Okay, lowest number. So that means this is the answer. Okay, all right, so 13.7. Sorry. So who was the first? D, not 13.7. Okay, let's move on to question 25. All right, question 25. Dora folds 12 paper cranes in 10 minutes. At this rate, how many paper cranes can Dora fold in 15 minutes? So 10 minutes, all right, is equal to 12 paper cranes, right? Let's do 5 minutes. Okay, you might be thinking, why 5 minutes? Okay, we divide this by 2. Okay, this will be 6, right? 6 paper cranes, right? And then after that, what about 15? Okay, right, 15 minutes is equal to 12 plus 6, right? It's equal to 18 paper cranes. There you go. So that's the answer, 18 paper cranes. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Question 26 over here. Okay, so in the number line, what's the value represented by x? So let's count the number of gaps. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so we have okay, 8 gaps, which is equal to, 7 minus 6, which is equal to 1. Okay, so one gap equal to 1, right, divided by 8. If you remember, this 1 divided by 8 is actually 0.125. Okay, I will show you the workings on this. All right, so it will look something like this. So 1 divided by 8. So in this case, we just put 8 because we cannot have 1. So we have 10 minus 8. Then this will give us 2. We break down another 0. We get minus 16. So this will be 1 and 2. And lastly, 20 minus 16 is 4. We bring down another 0. This will be 40. And that will be 5 times 8. Okay, so that is one gap. So now what is x? So x is 2 gaps, right? So 2 gaps is equal to 2 times 0.125. This will be 0.25. So the x is equal to 6 plus 0.25, which is 6.25. Okay, there you go. So that's the answer. Alrighty. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. Question 27. There are 140 students in the hall. 75% are boys. How many girls are there? Okay, so boys, and then percentage is equal to 75 and then percent. Okay, so girls percentage is equal to not 65, 75, right? That means this is 100 minus 75. Okay, this will give you 25% in this case over here. Give me the percent. All right, so then girls, number of girls is equal to 140 times 25%. Okay, so if you remember 25%, right, 25% is equal to 25 out of 100. Okay, in this case over here, right, 25 out of 100. And this is also equal to, right, I put equal sign. So we can divide both by, right, 4. Okay, sorry, not 4, 25. Okay, you can divide 25 for both. Okay, divide, let me put this here, divide and divide. So this will then become 1 out of 4. Okay, so 25% is 1 out of 4. Okay, so that means in this case, 140 then times 1 out of 4, which is basically divided by 4. Okay, so is 75. If I were to do the workings, is 4. And then 140 divided by 4. Okay, so over here, we can minus 12, right? So this will give us 3 over here. So now 14 minus 12, this will give us 20, right? 20 minus 20 equal to 0. Okay, 0. Oops, we just put 0 maybe here. Okay, good. Actually, I should do that. Put 0 over here. So that means this is 3 and this is 5. Okay, so that means this is 35. So the answer is 35. There you go. Woo, woo, hold up, hold up. Right, 35. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Question 28. Jane had some water in a bottle. After she drank half the amount, she added in another 4 out of 5 liters. There were one third of the water left in the bottle. How many liters of water were there in the bottle in the first place? Express your answer as a mixed number. So you see, we work backwards. So half of water at first is basically the total minus the 4/5 over here. So 1 over 1/3 minus 4 over 5. Okay, so this will then be, we need to get the common denominator for 3 and 5. So it's each other lah. So 5, you multiply this by 5 over here, and this one is the same. Okay, and then this one is not multiplied by 5 but multiplied by 3, and this also multiplied by not 5 also by 3, and this will look like, okay, it will look like this. Okay, so then we can convert this into improper fraction because 5 minus 12 is a negative number. So we need to make this into an improper fraction. So the improper fraction is basically the denominator times 1, or 1 times the denominator, same thing, right? 1 times the denominator in this case, and then plus 5. Okay, and out of 15 minus 12 of 15, and 1 times 15 is 15 plus 5. 20 out of 15 minus 12 out of 15. And what will this give us? Was 20 minus 12, which is basically 8 out of 15. So this is half of the water at first. Then we want to have the full amount, right? So that means how many liters were there at first? So we need to multiply this by 2. So full amount, okay, is equal to, in this case, right, 2 times this 815. Okay, so in this case, we will know that it's basically 2 times 8 out of 15. Okay, so that will be 16 out of, oops, then that will be equal to, so in this case, this will be 16 out of 15, right? So we need to make this into a mixed number. So this will then become, let me just put the equal sign. Okay, so this will become 1 out of, so 16 is 1 out of 1 out of 15 in this case over here, right? There you go. So that's the answer. Okay, so I'm gonna put this over here. Whoops. All right, let's move on to question 29. Okay. All right, so question 29. There were 30 lampposts along a road. The lampposts were at the same distance apart. The distance between the first and third lamppost was 90 meters. What was the distance between the first and the last lamppost? Okay, so gaps between first and third. All right, third is equal to 3 minus 1. Okay, so this will become 2 gaps, right? So 2 gaps is equal to 90 meters, right? 1 gap is equal to 90, and then we divide it by 2. This will give us 45 meters. So we want to know the gaps between the first and the 30th, not the third, 30th, which is basically 30 minus 1, which is in this case 29. So for this, so distance is equal to, okay, so I'm gonna distance equal to basic 29 times 45. Okay, so I would say little hack is basically 30 minus 1 times 45. So this must be in brackets. So 29 is basically 30 minus 1. Okay, and then from here you can get 30 times 45 minus 1 times 45. So 30 times 45 is 145, 45, 90, 135, 135, 1350 minus 45. And this will give us 13105 meters. There you go. So to double confirm, 45, and then multiply this by, by 3. Okay, so 5 times 3 is 15, 5. Put 1 here. 4 times 3 is 12. And this will be 135. Correct. Okay, so this is working over here. So the answer to this is 1305 meters. There we go. Let's move on to the last question, question 30. So the line graph shows the temperature of water in the tank from 20:00 to 21:00, so from 8 to 9 p.m. For how many minutes was the temperature of the water above 40 degrees? Okay, so we see 40 degrees over here. Okay, and then we draw the line. So from here, okay, put a red, and then put another red as well. So I see over here. Okay, so for how many minutes was the temperature above 40 degrees? So from here, 20 of the water, 40 degrees and above. So this means 2100. So starts, okay, at 2020, ends at 2100. So that means 2020 to 2100 is equal to 40 minutes. There you go. So that's the answer. 40 minutes. Right. So if you like this video, give a thumbs up. If you want more of this kind of video, subscribe down below and comment down what are the things you want me to show you next. See you in the next one. Bye bye.